Om Jnananjalam Tasya Jnananjalasilakaya Tasmai Sri Guru Namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So, today's topic is I'm giving lecture on Vedic philosophy versus Vedic philosophy versus Western philosophy. Okay. So today we are going to talk about Vedic philosophy. Okay. So about Vedic philosophy, and there is a difference. Definitely, anybody said it. Philosophy. There is a difference between Western philosophy and Vedic philosophy, and the difference is not in the subject, because both of them deals with the subject of God, but Western philosophy deals with God less and in much lesser detail, because first of all they have this less details, but our Vedic or Indian philosophy discusses about God in much more detailed manner. They are more detailed discussions about God, and there are a few differences between Vedic philosophy and Western philosophy, which we should know before I go into Vedic philosophy. Now the point is now Indian Vedic philosophy, also called darshan. This is the term used for Vedic philosophy. That is darshan, means to see. Philosophy means, technically, if you understand this word, phila means love and Sophie means knowledge. Then the philosophy means love for knowledge. But darshan is something else. Darshan, according to Vedic philosophy, darshan means knowledge for love, and philosophy means love for knowledge. But darshan means knowledge for love, or in other words, philosophers, Western philosophy, they love knowledge. But aim of Vedic philosophy is to take knowledge so that they develop love of God. That's the idea. You see, in Vedic philosophy, God is the aim and object of Vedic philosophy. That's the idea. At least a Vedanta, there are definitely some atheistic system also in the paradigm of Vedic philosophy, just like Charvak is there, Sankhya is there, Yoga, and Visheshya Nyaya. All these are atheistic philosophies, but Vedanta, which is given by Vyasadeva, according to him, the aim of Vedic philosophy is God, and to develop love for him. And Vyasadeva, in his book Vedanta Sutra, he has refuted all the other atheistic philosophies and established the aim of Vedic philosophies. So this is very crucial difference. If you go to any university, if you talk about Vedic philosophy, they will tell you, Vedic philosophy is a very big subject. They are theists, they are atheists, isn't it? And they will divide like that. And it's complex because Veda says so there is a sutra in Vedas so which goes by the name Nasadhya Sutra. And there it says, okay, fine, it says it describe about God, describe about the creation. It is a sutra concerned with the creation actually, and the translation goes like that. It's not Sanskrit, but the translation goes like this: who can tell who has made this creation? Perhaps even the creator knows it not. And that's the translation. Perhaps the creator also doesn't know whether he has created or not. You see. So the point is, if you read English translations of Vedas and of Vedic philosophies and some university books, definitely you are going to get confused. It's 100%. And then you are going to say, yeah, well, Vedic philosophy is all hodgepodge. Sometimes they are talking about God, sometimes they are talking about atheism, sometimes they are talking about mixed atheism. It's all hodgepodge, but actually it is not. It is not hodgepodge. You see, people who have studied Vedic philosophy according to tradition. Now that's important, because Vedic philosophy has to be understood by the people who are in the line, who are reading Vedas, who have tradition of Vedas or Vedic knowledge and Vedic wisdom. So it can't be understood by universities. You can't understand. Suppose if you go to England and if you go to all this you see America, so they have this department called Indian mythology. See, first of all, this term it looks biased term. First of all, right from the starting, it's mythology. You see, right from starting, it's funny term. And on the top of that, then there are their own speculation, understandings, and all those things. You see. So it's important that we have to keep in mind all these things. Okay, and if you come to India, go to some traditional schools, and if you go to those traditional schools, if you read Vedanta properly, you will come to conclusion that the aim of philosophy is to know God. That's it. Simple. But Western philosophy is not like that. Goal of Western philosophy is knowledge. Knowledge for what? About reality. This is the second difference. Western philosophers, they want to know reality. Okay, that's good. No problem. And for that, they do speculation. So that's the idea. They do speculation. See, they sit somewhere in the mountain. There are their small huts, and he is looking out of the window, and he is thinking something, cooking something in his mind, and then thinking, or he will go to some riverside. He will make a small hut. He will spend some 15 to 20 years and come back with his thesis, his philosophies, and he is a philosopher. This is about Western philosophy. This is the history of Western philosophy. But what about Indian philosophy? It doesn't happen like that. In Indian philosophy, if you want to learn, you have to go to a teacher, to a spiritual master, and you have to serve him. You have to get proper training, and you don't. And first thing is that you don't have to speculate. You don't have to speculate. Whatever understanding, whatever reasoning, understanding and whatever reasoning we are giving, we are to give, that should be according to scriptures. This is another difference. Well, Western philosophy is largely based on speculation of philosophers, isn't it? And religion is different. In the West, philosophy is separate and religion is separate. Religion means Bible or maybe Quran, and philosophy is something else. So philosophers do not like religion in the West. There is a dichotomy. See, but in Vedic philosophy, religion and philosophy is intertwined. You can't separate them. You can't separate God and philosophy and reality, because God is reality according to Vedanta. So that means the whatever reasoning is to be offered to understand God, it should be according to scriptures. You see, scriptures are religious books, or you can call it them as philosophical books. Now according to tradition, there is a lot of philosophical in scriptures. It's different from Bible, like Vedanta. If you read Vedanta, full of philosophy, it is complex philosophy. And if you read Vedas, if you read Nyaya Shastra, that is full of logic. So the thing is that there is a system to discuss and to think. Okay, there is a system to discuss and to think, which is given in the scriptures. You have to follow those rules, you see, and you have to keep yourself in the limit of those rules which are offered by scriptures. This is the difference between Vedic philosophy and Western philosophy. Now we look at Vedic philosophy largely confined to scriptures. Okay, reasoning is according to scriptures. It is not a speculation. So, and I told Western philosophy is they want to know about reality, which might include God, which might not include God, like that. There are various philosophers, for example, for the Nietzsche, and then Schaffner, and then Kierkegaard. These people were there. Marx, they told, well, aim of philosophy is to know reality, and God should be out of the picture, because God is illusion. According to them, God is illusion. But according to Vedic philosophy, according to darshan, the goal of Vedic philosophy is to attain God, or is God. Okay, and that is why, to understand God, we are understanding reality. There is a difference. Everything is centered on God. To understand God, we are understanding reality. But Western philosophy is not like that. They want to understand reality, which might include God and which might not include God. That's another difference. And then if you understand all these things, so you can also understand there is a lot of difference between philosophy and Vedic philosophy, right? In one word, Western philosophy is not God oriented. Simple. That's all. They divorced themselves from religion. Religion is religion a myth, an illusion, and superstition. Because Bible, you see, it doesn't offer many philosophical answers. But had they read Vedanta, and they read Vedanta. You see, many Britishers came to India, and many British missionaries, they came, read Vedanta, but definitely now we know that they had a mission. They had a mission to colonize India and to spoil our Indian culture purposefully. So they mistranslated Vedas and Upanishad. As I met so many of my friends who belongs Britain and America, or some philosophers. So I asked them, have you read Vedanta? Have you read Vedas? They said, yeah, we have read, but it's not convincing. So well, then I asked him, which Veda did you read? Okay, fine, Rig Veda, Atharvaveda, and all this. So I asked him again, how did you read? Do you know Sanskrit? So then I asked, how do you do? So I have he replied, I have read translation in English by this foreign author, but that doesn't work. You see, this is the point. To understand Vedic philosophy, you have to read. So mostly they read English translation, and they get confused. You have to know Sanskrit for that. Well, if you go to Germany, they even learn Sanskrit, and then they read a Vedic text because they like to. Sanskrit is more famous in Germany. Sanskrit is more famous there. They are more interested in Sanskrit. So, but at the same time, even if you know Sanskrit, but you don't have a proper spiritual guide and a teacher, it is impossible to understand Vedas. If you can read a book, you go to Google and Google this book. What was the name? The name is Lies with the Long Legs. It's a nice book. It is written by, I think it's written by a historian, and he writes there how these Britishers and British missionaries, they came to India, and when they were reading Vedas, they learned Sanskrit, and they were reading Vedas, and many of them realized that Vedic philosophy is far more complex and far more superior than the Western philosophy. In fact, one of the philosopher, I think he was it was Nietzsche. Yeah, he told, he has said that sorry, he has said that India metaphysics is by far much more complex than the Western philosophy. So what you do? So you have to read. We have to If you want to understand Vedic philosophy, you have to go to according to the tradition, Vedic tradition. That's the important thing. And that's make a difference. And not only knowledge, you also have to you also have you see have training, practical training, service. uh, to understand Vedic philosophy, there are a few requirements. Let's discuss. uh, the first requirement is purification of heart. You have to be dedicated. The second one is you have to be dedicated. Your heart should be purified. You see, this concept of purification is not there in Western philosophy anywhere. You can have a Western philosopher and you can be a nonsense. He will do all kind of nonsense things, stuffs, and at the same time he can be a big philosopher. He can be a drinker. He can be a debauchee. He can have sex. He can have so many illicit sex. He can have relationships, and yet he can be a philosopher. But in Vedic philosophy, it doesn't happen like that. In Vedic philosophy, you in darshanam, if you want to understand, first thing is purity. Even atheistic Vedic philosophy like Patanjali Yoga, Nyaya Visheshika, all rules. What are the duties of a disciple? If you want to understand philosophy, it is see, if it is atheistic system, but even they will demand that a disciple should be a pure in conduct. He should not speak lies. For example, so if you read Patanjali Yoga, he says, well, if you want to understand yoga, and if you want to understand Sankhya, you should not speak lies. You should follow brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means celibacy. You should not steal. You should be pure. You should be pure. Any system of Vedic philosophy, it demands purity. Even even Ayurveda, what to talk about philosophy, even other branches of Veda, Vedic philosophy, it need purity. Even Ayurveda says that a doctor should not be a hypocrite. He should always speak truth. If you read Vedas again and again, these qualifications appear again and again, because you see, Vedic philosophy cannot be understood by people whose heart are impure. It doesn't happen like that, because it's not just information, it is wisdom. And Western philosophy is information largely. It is a logical battle. You see, Western philosophy is a logical battle. Okay, that so what I'm trying to say, that reasoning is not that they will argue like that. Okay, that reasoning is not right. This reasoning is right, and this and go so on. It's more rationality, Western philosophy, but darshanam or Vedic philosophy is not like that. It's not a battle of logic, reasoning, okay, or rationality. It is wisdom, which comes, which dawns upon a disciple when he serves his teacher. He is pure, and he abides by the rules which are laid down by the scriptures or the book of Vedic philosophy. And then he comes to a conclusion that there is God. Aim of life is to develop love for God. Simple, nothing else. This is God. This is good. So what is the result of Western philosophy? If you talk about the conclusion of Western philosophy, what you get? If you understand Vedic philosophy, in the end, what you get? In the end, you get frustration. Oh yeah. He told me what he told. I think he was Nietzsche. Yeah. He told, if you want to be happy, follow religion, and if you want to know truth, what he said, I think he said that if you want to be happy, then follow religion, and if you want to know the truth, then learn philosophy. That is the stupid thing. See, he himself is admitting that if you will come to me, you will not be happy, but you will come to know the truth. See, so one question is arising there. What kind of truth is it? What kind of truth it is? Western philosophy generally ends in ignorance and confusion. That's Western philosophy generally ends in ignorance and confusion. This is what one of the great stalwart in Indian philosophy, he is an Indian philosopher, Bhakti Vinod Thakur. People see, he is not that he is not that famous in intellectual circles, but if you go to traditional circles, he is a famous Bhakti Vinod Thakur. He read many books as a Gaudiya Vaishnava philosopher, and he writes. He has written a beautiful book called Tattva where he analyzes all Western philosophies, and he writes, see, Western philosophy ends in doubts. This is perfect conclusion. He writes in the end that Western philosophy ends in doubts. Mostly they end in doubt and in confusion. And philosophy, you take mostly they confused. There is no definite conclusion. Okay, this is the aim of life. Who knows what's the aim of life? There is so many confusions there. So Western philosophy doesn't end in knowledge. They after knowledge, but it ends in ignorance and then frustration and then suicides. Most of these philosophers, they were frustrated. They do suicides. They were if you read history, if you go to history, most of them because what I say, according to history, most of them became atheist because they own doubts, because of their own doubts, speculations, and most of them criticized religion. At least, um, you see, the modern philosophers, not the pre-modern philosopher, but the modern philosophers, they criticize religion. uh, and But if you come to Vedic philosophy side, even atheist even atheistic philosophers, he has some ethics with him. He also doesn't reject the concept of God. They even an atheist in India accept Charvak. Charvak, he was a Vedic philosopher. He told that there is no God, let's enjoy and forget it. But there were other Vedic philosophers like Gemini, Gautam, Kanath, who had their own system. Even they accepted the existence of God. They couldn't deny the existence of God by their system of philosophy. But 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 they couldn't really accept God in a so yeah so yeah, they couldn't accept God as a personality, but at the same time they couldn't deny God. So for some of the atheistic philosopher, so you see, western philosophy, atheist is a different definition there. When you go to India, when you go to Indian tradition, atheist is having a different flavor, right? In Western philosophy, atheist means there is no God. There is no God. Religion is useless and finish. Indian philosophy doesn't go like that. Vedic philosophy, there is a Charvak who is atheist. Finish. That's the different thing. Okay. But there are other atheists, Nyaya Visheshika, Sankhya, Yoga. They don't deny God. They deny the existence of God as a person. They might accept God as a power. They might accept God as a supreme power, which doesn't control on this, which doesn't have a control on this material world. That kind of God they accept. Some of them, so you can call them deistic or something like that. But it's a major difference in Western philosophy and darshan. So it's good to read Vedic philosophy and also to compare Western philosophy and Vedic philosophy. And when one does it in a unbiased fashion, a neutral fashion, then it is only possible. You see, you have to go to a teacher, learn, and of Vedic philosophy satisfaction. There is a saying in Sanskrit that Sarve Sukhena Bhavantu. This is Veda. Let everyone be happy. This should be the aim of philosophy. You see, what is the use of that philosophy which doesn't gives us happiness and satisfaction? What is the use of You see, what's the use, isn't it? You make you make your whole foundation, whole superstructure of philosophy, and in the end you are frustrated. What's the then what's the use of that philosophy? What's the use? See, a good philosophy should give you harmony, satisfaction, peace, and true knowledge and wisdom and pure character, isn't it? And some ethics, morality, but which ultimately leads to understanding God. This is the main motive of Vedic philosophy. This is good philosophy, and this is Vedic philosophy or Darshanam. Darshanam means to see reality as it is, not according to your speculation, not according to your own on eyes, but according through the eyes of God, or through the eyes of scriptures, or through the eyes of ancient wisdom, through the eyes of ancient rishis or spiritual masters. This is called Darshanam or Vedic philosophy. Thank you. Hare Krishna. If you want to ask